Though in a stronger position than the rest of Europe, export-dependent Nordic countries are still feeling the effects of the Eurozone crisis. At Exporta's 5th annual Nordic Region Trade and Export Finance Conference in Gothenburg, corporates shared their experiences in handling banks' lower risk appetite in the context of the crisis and looming Basel III regulations.
We have to actually broaden the bank base in a way, and in order to find out even more banks and their possibilities to help us, especially in the more difficult markets.
We are condensing the number of banks that we are using in order to get better support for the various needs that we are having in different fields.
The banks and the corporates have to align themselves in order to target where the banks can facilitate our business to a higher degree. We have to be better at corporate to identify which areas we really need more help, but I think the banks have to be a little bit more proactive.
We're seeing international banks being much more selective in the Nordic corporates they approach, which puts larger expectation on the Nordic banks.
In the face of the difficulties they encounter in their traditional export markets, Nordic corporates are experiencing a shift in the trade finance and insurance tools they need.
We're having difficulties in getting paid from the southern European countries. We will see increased credit insurance. I also think that we are more cautious and we spend more time in due diligence in our customers. We also use more trade finance vehicles.
The old favorites like letters of credit are still very valuable and still very much used, but we are also using much more of bills of exchange and bank guarantees.
Demand for ECA support is also growing exponentially as corporates try to minimize risks.
We are now in the 4th year of record high demands, starting off in the financial crisis in 2009. And we see demand also increasing in OECD countries. As long as we have this a bit unsecure situation in the Eurozone, I think that demand will continue.
You need the ECA and maybe IFC to also support the short-term trade finance.
In order to reduce dependency on European markets, Nordic corporates are also expanding operations in developing countries, particularly in Africa, creating a need for bespoke financial services.
And we have managed to sell our port equipment to several different countries in Africa. Mostly we demand confirmed LCs, which is a very good instrument for exporter to cover all those risks which you face in Africa.
They are more risky markets, and we have to look at how we can manage that. We have to know them better, and we have to offer the right products to our customers who are going to these areas.
It's not only about providing that piece of risk coverage or that piece of funding. It's about supporting the customers in managing their entire end-to-end processes and value chain. That's the real challenge.
Speakers also pointed to Norway's role as an oil-rich country with the power to support the Nordic region's economy as a whole.
From a Nordic and a Norwegian-specific angle, I mean, the oil and the gas industry is booming, so there is absolutely no crisis whatsoever.